I'm here with Simon, one of the champion designers, also known as Kabam Ein, not Kabam Ian, like I said in my last video. And I've got a few questions for him. Here's the final day at Comic-Con. The first question is, in the past, there's been some discussion about ways to maybe increase the customization for champions. Is there anything more you can discuss about that, or is that kind of like the unique synergy things, or is that something different, or anything you can elaborate on?
I can't get super specific. Just more generally, customization is cool and interesting, but we do want to keep the game accessible. We don't want to add complication without adding more things that are interesting. And there's as the roster of champions grows, a sort of like matrix of potential interactions gets pretty crazy pretty quickly.
Right.
So we want customization and like lots of choice, but we also want it to feel meaningful for players. If you just have like a million little choices and none of them really feel terribly impactful, it's like, maybe we should just take that like 100 choices and make it 10 that really mattered. Is that more interesting?
Right.
And then, of course, any changes along those lines we want to be very careful with, because it has the potential to like go crazy, and so.
Right.
Sure, it would be much easier to build something that's like, here's a few more stats, and like we could probably build something like that faster. But a more interesting customization system, whatever it might end up looking like, would take more. Will take a ton of testing, so we don't want to, rock the boat in a way that we didn't intend.
Right.
So like that kind of exploration and discussion is always ongoing. We're always looking for like new and interesting things to add to the contest, but we also understand the potential impact of something like that. So
Right. Okay. All right. Cool. The Venom and Carnage changes just went live, and there was also some changes to some pre-existing masteries, some older masteries, Dexterity and Mystic Dispersion. So we've seen some adjustments to things that players have been familiar with for a long time now. Is there anything else on the horizon? Any new champion reworks that are currently being done, or is still fresh off of the previous changes?
We're still pretty fresh off of the previous changes. We have like a forever list of changes we would like to make in the game, and so it's a constant balancing act between is it better to add something new? Do you refresh something that's already there? Is that refresh something that the community wants? Is that refresh something that we think is healthy for the game long term and we should do anyway? We don't have any champion reworks. Like, there's nobody sitting at a desk right now working on them. But we do have a list of champions that we would like to rework. So, we want to keep working on those, keep redoing some of the older champions. So we'll keep looking for opportunities to do it. I personally feel like the Carnage and Venom changes and the Mystic Dispersion and Dexterity changes overall were very positive. I think
so too. Yeah.
They were reasonably quite well accepted by the community.
Yes.
And we're pretty happy with the changes that what they will add to these new characters and how they will interact with some of the newer, more potent characters. And then just the Mystic Dispersion. I think we hit a pretty good balance there. It's still a very potent mastery, but it's not like so much better than all of the other masteries that it's like a must include in everybody's mastery setup, because that's not going back to the idea of like interesting and meaningful choices. If there's a like, of course you have to make this choice kind of choice, then it's like, well, that's not really a choice, and so maybe it should it shouldn't exist the way it does. So yeah. And
are you guys still kind of monitoring the after effects of that Mystic Dispersion change, or at this point have you pretty much said like, okay, it's everything's kind of going along as planned, it's balanced, feels good?
Both. Right? Both. Yeah. So yes, absolutely, we are still paying attention. We're not monitoring it quite as closely as we were when it initially came out. But we are still definitely making sure that we keep an eye on that. We know it's a large change. We want to make sure that there isn't something that sort of crops up later. It's not uncommon for a change to go in and for it to take a while for players to really, figure out how they want to play with the new setup. So we're keeping an eye on it. But all in all, we are pretty happy with the way everything's shaken out so far.
Okay. And the other class masteries, that's on that forever list of things that we'll eventually get some kind of update or...
Absolutely. That's one place where there is a lot of variance in sort of potency, and it costs the same amount of mastery points for each of them. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And last question is just curious. Some of the champions they've designed have been a little bit more specialized than the standard, just 5-hit combo. It have a little bit of a rotation to them. I feel like I can see a little bit of influence from some other games. I was just curious, like, what other games do influence you as a designer?
As a designer, I hope every game I ever play influences me at least a little bit. It's almost rare for me to sit down and play a video game and not pull my notebook out all the time. It's pretty ingrained in me now. I've been doing it for a long time. So I'm, whether I like it or not, almost always looking at a game that I'm playing with sort of a critical or professional eye. What do I like? What don't I like? I'm always interested to try new things. But I also don't want to reinvent the wheel if I don't have to. I want to do new things where I think they're needed. And then if we've got a proven existing solution somewhere else, then I will, I'm happy to borrow that, as it were.
Right.
Professionally borrow. But for myself, I personally enjoy playing MOBAs. So that inevitably has some sort of an impact. There's also a lot of parallels in terms of these sort of large character rosters that have lots of interactions.
Right.
But over my lifetime, I've played tons of RPGs and that sort of thing as well as another favorite of mine. And strategy games, like RTS strategy games, or 4X larger strategy games. And so again, there's that sort of longer term progression. Making decisions around short-term gain versus almost a penalty immediately towards long-term gain.
Right.
And then again, you mentioned customization earlier. Again, lots of those games have that. That's the idea of what's a meaningful choice here? How do you balance certain abilities versus others? What gives an ability potency or what gives an ability value? Is variant. Some are real easy, is the number bigger or not?
Right.
Some are very dependent on what challenges you're going to run into, and so they may even gain and lose value not through our direct actions, not through me tuning a mechanic, but just through the choices that other players in the game are making, which is cool and interesting unto itself as well.
Right.
I do like to challenge myself as a designer to create champions that give you a motivation to do things a little bit differently. There's a pretty strong core loop to the game, 5-hit combo, parry, another 5-hit combo, special attack when it's ready. And that's very core to the game and is a skill that we've asked all of our players to master as they move up the difficulty of the game. And so we don't want to remove that, but also it's great for there to be ways to play champions that are a little bit different than that. And so I do like to sort of challenge myself to see if I can shake up that very established pattern that you see in many champions.
Right. Okay, well, great. Simon, thank you very much. Really appreciate your time. And see you next time.